Look, man, it's that time of year again, the Christmas season, and everyone's all jolly thinking about Santa Claus sliding down the chimney and dropping off some presents and making everything feel nice and cozy. Yeah, it's a good time. Everyone's high on holiday cheer, making big promises like I'm gonna lose weight or I'll crush it in school or I'm gonna be a whole new person. But guess what, motherfucker? That holiday hype doesn't last. When the tinsel comes down and the tree goes back in the attic, it's just you versus you. No more Christmas magic. No more cookies and eggnog to distract you. It's just cold, hard reality staring you in the face. And let me tell you, when you're sitting there trying to keep those promises, it's going to get fucking hard. You think waking up early to hit the gym feels good after New Year's. Hell no. It's fucking brutal. The excitement fades and now it's just grind time. That's where most people fold. That's where dreams die. But here's the truth, you don't get to tap out. You need someone in your corner. Someone who's going to pick up that towel you just threw in and slap you in the face with it. Yelling, get the F back in the fight. And don't give me that weak ass excuse about suffering. I've been in places where suffering isn't a feeling. It's a fucking environment. You ever been in ice cold water shaking so hard you think your bones are going to break? That's the kind of pain that makes you question everything about who you are. I've seen dudes in that water, big tough guys. And the second that icy wave smacks them, their dreams die right there. Their eyes roll back and they're done. When you're in Hell Week hour 1 of 13, it's all fun and games. Guns are going off, grenades are popping, everyone's hype yelling, hoo-ya, like a bunch of maniacs. But then the instructors turn off all the noise. They take you out to the surf zone. And it's just you, your team in that fucking Pacific Ocean colder than anything you've ever felt. That's where dreams go to die. But here's the thing, if you can hold on, if you can push past the pain and the cold, you'll come out harder. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect hype, or some magical motivation. Life's about doing the hard shit when no one's watching. It's about suffering and coming out stronger. Now, man, it's just you and your fucking thoughts. You're locked arms with your brothers, but deep down, you know the truth is you against you. You don't know if those guys next to you will make it. And honestly, in that moment, you don't give a damn. The first wave smacks you in the face and your mind starts playing games. Your brain skips the present moment and jumps straight from hour 2 to hour 130. 5 days of hell? Fuck no, your brain can't even process that. All the screaming is get the fuck out of here. You're in fight or flight mode. The water's freezing. And all you can think is, I can't stay this cold for this long. This is fucking impossible. And here's the thing, that's the moment where most people lose. That's where the dreams die, motherfucker. You forget why you're even there. You forget about the SEALs, the mission, the flag, the trident. All of it. None of that S matters anymore. The only thing on your mind is warmth. You want out. You want a hot meal, your girl's arms around you, your comfort zone back. That's where people fuck up right there. But here's the thing, in that 1 second decision, you have to choose to stay in the fight. Yeah, the pain's real and your mind's screaming at you to quit. But quitting isn't an option. So what do I do in that 1 second? I don't let the pain take over. I stay in the water physically, but mentally I leave that cold ass ocean. In my mind, I'm already out. I'm standing on the beach with the instructors. They're wrapped up in their parkas, sipping their hot coffee, laughing at your misery because they've already been through this. And guess what? Now it's your fucking turn. So while my body's shaking in that freezing water, my mind's calm, warm, and thinking logically. This is the secret, man. You have to control your mind. That 1 second when your brain is screaming, quit. Ring the bell, get warmed. You've got to tell it to shut the fuck up. You've got to step back and think, if I quit now, where does that leave me? What's the story I'm going to tell myself when I'm warm and dry, but a fucking failure? The second you let yourself quit, yeah, you'll be warm, you'll be comfortable, but you'll hate yourself for it. So I think logically stay in the fight, Goggins. Just stay 1 second longer. You've got to reframe the pain. It's not about the cold, the waves, or the suffering. It's about the control you take over your own mind. And let me tell you, you're not just going to face one of these moments. You're going to face a fucking ton of them. 130 hours full of these 1 second battles. But every single one of those seconds matters. If you let one of them beat you, you're done. You'll never be a SEAL, never be a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever the F it is you're chasing. That's why the 1 second decision is everything. It's the difference between success and failure. You've got to own that moment, stare your weak ass thoughts in the face and say, fuck you. I run this shit. That's how you win. You know why people quit SEAL training or any hardcore special ops training. It's not the body, it's the fucking mind. The mind loves comfort. It loves that cozy 72-degree house where you've got your lemonade, your milkshake, and your feet kicked up watching Navy SEALs on Discovery Channel. Like, yeah, I could do that. That doesn't look so bad, bullshit. Because the second you step out of that bubble, when it's 40 degrees, your body's locking up and you're questioning every life choice that brought you there. That's when the truth comes out. In my third hell week, a guy died from pulmonary edema. Died. That's how real this shit gets. And let me tell you, if you don't have a rock solid answer to why you're out there, you'll quit, man. See, the mind is a sneaky little bitch. When it gets hard, when it's cold and you're suffering, it starts whispering, why are you doing this? You don't have to be here. Just quit. If you don't have a reason stronger than that voice, you're done. You can't fake your way through this. I can't give you that answer. Nobody can. You've got to know it deep in your soul. For me, when I went through SEAL training, I was willing to fucking die. That's how I silenced that weak-ass voice. Every time the doubt came creeping in, every time my body screamed to stop, I already had the answers. But most people don't. That's why they quit. They're too comfortable. They've spent their whole lives chasing comfort and they've never learned to live in the grind. You find out who you are when you're uncomfortable. When life fucks you up every single day, that's when you grow. But the mind, it doesn't want to grow. It wants massages, easy living, and that perfect temperature. That's where it wants to stay. And look, I'm no Superman. I wake up plenty of days feeling like a little bitch. On those days, I record myself. I literally record the weak-ass excuses spilling out of my mouth. Then I play it back. And you know what? It's fucking embarrassing. I listen to that pathetic voice and think, if I played this for my girl, would she still want to be with me? So I get the fuck up. No debate, no second guessing. You've got to fight that voice, smack it down every single time it pops up. Because that voice, it's always looking for the easy way out. And none of us, not even me, want to work that hard. But winners don't listen to that voice. Here's the rule. Every word you say to yourself has to light a fire in your fucking soul. If it doesn't, you're feeding the weakness. If you played that weak voice to your friend, would it inspire them? Or would it make them sink deeper into their own bullshit? That's the test. It's all on you, man. You've got to stop looking to your left and your right for someone to save you. Accountability starts with yourself. Build that inner strength, that self-reliance, and watch how everything changes. It's not about being selfish. It's about creating the best version of you. Because when you do that, you stop needing anyone else to hold you up. You know what's killing most people? They want to be the best amongst the average. That's the real problem. People look at me and ask Goggins, how do you stay hungry all the time? I'll tell you why. Because I don't fucking stop. I don't hit a goal, sit back, and act like I've arrived. That's what most people do. You graduate, buds, get that certificate, get the job, and then what? You sit your ass down, start getting soft, and wonder, why am I losing my edge? What happened to me? I'll tell you what happened. You thought the top of the mountain was the end. Guess what, motherfucker? That mountain isn't the end. It's just the fucking start. When you hit the top, you've got to build another fucking mountain. If you don't, you're falling right back into mediocrity. That's where most people live. They've got their nice little resumes, their one-time wins. They hit it big once, maybe got some money, some recognition. But now they're average as fuck. Here's the truth, the easy voice. That's the bitch voice telling you you're good, man. You're doing great. Look at you, 90% there, almost perfect. You deserve a break. That voice is comforting as hell. It's like your mom wrapping you up, telling you it's all going to be okay. But guess what? That voice is a fucking liar. Then there's the other voice, the hard one. The one that's calling you out saying, hey, motherfucker, you ain't doing shit. You've got way more in you and you're fucking coasting. Most people run from that voice. They bury it deep because they don't want to face the truth. But here's the thing. If you choose to do something in this life, you've got two options. You can either half-ass it, slide by, and be remembered as weak. Or you can fucking attack it with everything you've got. That's your reputation. People will remember you either way. The question is, how do you want them to remember you? For me, I don't give a shit if people hate me. But one thing they can't say I didn't fucking show up and go all in. That's where the power comes from, knowing you gave every ounce of yourself. And let me tell you something else. There's power in putting your whole life out there. When you've been through the fire, when you've carried that weight, you start to own your shit. You stop caring what people think. You stop hiding how fucked up you've been. You know what happens when you do that? that weight starts coming off. That big ass rock you've been carrying on your back, it starts to fucking crumble. And you know what's left? Strength. So yeah, I talk about my failures. I talk about my weaknesses. Not because I want sympathy, but because I'm fucking done being afraid of them. That's where the real power is, facing your S, owning it, and using it to fuel the fight. People like to look at me now and think, damn Goggins, you've always been this beast. But that's bullshit. I wasn't always this way. I had to reinvent a whole fucking human being. See, for so many years I was sitting at home broken. And I mean fucking broken. Not just physically, but mentally and spiritually shattered. I wasn't some tough guy born out of the gate. I had to build that shit brick by brick. I had to look at myself in the mirror and say, you ain't shit right now, but you can be. Coming from a small town, that'll fuck you up in ways you don't even realize. A small town will close your mind, lock it the fuck down. It keeps you stuck, surrounded by small thinking, small people, and small opportunities. Not everyone stays stuck, but let's face it, most people do. They get comfortable in their little world and never leave it. But I knew I had to get out. I had to open my mind. See, ignorance and judgment, they come from never stepping out of your bubble. When you stay in that small town mentality, you never meet people different from you, never see. Never see the world, never understand shit outside your tiny little reality. That's why people stay racist. That's why they stay judgmental. They don't fucking see the world. And that's where I had to step the fuck up and say, Goggins, it's time to face who you are. Not the version of me I show to people, but the real me. The fat, insecure, stuttering, scared little bitch sitting in the dark room. You know that dark room I'm talking about. That's where all your fears, insecurities, and failures live. Most people run from it, but I ran toward it. Because in that dark room, you've got to create someone new. The person who walks out of that room isn't the same weak-ass version of you who walked in. I had to build a motherfucker who could look that weak, scared little kid in the eye and say, not today. We're better than this. Growing up, I wasn't good at school. Couldn't read well, couldn't write well. But I had a PhD in human beings. Why? Because I lived in hell every fucking day. Studying people, figuring out who I could trust and who I couldn't. That pain made me a genius at reading energy. I could tell if someone was good or bad just by the way they moved, the way they talked. But no matter how much I learned, something was still holding me back. I kept asking myself, why can't I get past this hurdle? Why am I still stuck? And then it hit me. I hadn't gone back to the beast. I hadn't faced the demon. So I went back to the source of my pain, my father. That man was brutal. And I mean fucking brutal. But when I looked closer, I realized something. He was just passing down the same demons his father gave him. His dad would beat the shit out of him, put him in front of a furnace, flames roaring, and whip him bare ass naked. The message: don't move or you'll get burned. Take the beating. Those demons, they got passed to my dad and he tried to pass them to me. But here's the thing. I wasn't about to let that happen. I had to understand him. Not for his sake, but for mine. I had to see why he was the way he was so I could take that pain, process it, and become something better. When I went back to face him, I wasn't looking for an apology. Fucking apology. I wasn't there to feel vindicated or justified. That shit would have made me weak. If I got an apology, what was I going to do? Sit back and say, well, my dad fucked me up, so now I have an excuse to be a loser. Facing that demon wasn't about blame. It was about ownership. It was about saying, this is what happened to me, but it's not who I am. That's the key. Too many people want to point fucking finger, want to stay stuck in their pain because it gives them a pass. You don't get a fucking pass in life. You either own your shit and rise above it or you let it own you. And me, I'll be damned if I let anyone or anything own me. That voice, that motherfucking voice, it started creeping in, man. It started small, whispering like a little bitch in the back of my head. But as I kept driving to Buffalo, it got louder. It was screaming at me, you've got a lot to face, young man. You've got a long fucking road ahead. And it wasn't lying. That voice wasn't there to comfort me. It was there to lay it out. Your dad did a lot of shit to you, but guess what? Ain't nobody coming to save you. You're going to have to make it on your own. By the time I got to that door, it was roaring. And by the time I left that house, instead of feeling sorry for myself, I started breaking myself down. I started doing what I call a live autopsy. You know, when people die, doctors cut them open, figure out what the hell went wrong, why they didn't make it. But we never stop to do that shit while we're alive. We're walking around dead inside, but no one's asking, why am I dying? That was me. I was alive, but I was already dead. Every fucking day just going through the motions, but there was nothing real happening. So I did my autopsy, and you know what I found? I found the fucking truth. And the truth set me free. Once I faced that, once I cut through all the bullshit, I was reborn. Here's the thing, trauma's coming for you. Devastation is coming for you. That shit is inevitable. Life doesn't give you a pass. It doesn't care how hard you've already had it. The real question is, what are you going to do when it shows up? You can't let it be a Jersey barrier or something that stops you dead in your tracks. You've got to find a way to move through it, over, around it, whatever the fuck it takes. That's what separates the weak from the strong. It takes mental toughness, the kind that only comes from facing yourself. Every day I ask myself, what am I doing today? Tomorrow? The next fucking day? I don't listen to all these motivational clowns out here blowing smoke up your ass. I listen to the realist, the motherfucker who says, man, I'm tired. I'll ask him, why are you tired? And he'll say, because tomorrow I've got to do it all over again. That's the guy who's been through it. That's the guy who knows there's no end to the grind. He's not pretending there's an easy way out. He's the guy who's earned his knowledge through suffering. And let me tell you something. On the other end of suffering, there's a world most people will never see. A beautiful fucking world. That's where you find yourself. Not on the sidelines, not in your comfort zone, but in the trenches in the shit. Like that 100-mile race I ran for 24 hours straight. I didn't find myself in the first mile or the 10th or the 50th. I found myself on the other side of the pain at mile 90, when everything in my body was screaming at me to quit. That's where I became Goggins. Man, you're alone. Yeah, you've got a shrink or a best friend, but guess what? There are 24 fucking hours in a day, and most of that time is just you versus your own damn brain. And let me tell you something, that brain of yours, it's a sneaky little bastard. It's constantly trying to own you, pull you into his traps, make you weak. If you can't grab that son of a bitch and control it, you're fucked. Game over. You've got to tell your brain where the fuck you want to go, how you're going to get there and what it's going to take. You've got to own that shit. Otherwise, your brain will drive you straight into a ditch every damn time. Here's the thing, you've got way more inside you than you ever give yourself credit for. You just don't want to pick up the fucking shovel. Yeah, a shovel. Life isn't going to hand you a golden path. You've got to dig that shit out yourself. Sure, some people are going to fly past you like they're in a damn Ferrari while you're clawing your way through the dirt. So what? It's your path. Own it. The journey isn't about being comfortable, happy, or surrounded by people all the damn time. You want to grow? You want to find out what you're made of? Go dark. Shut off the phone. Shut off the noise. Go into that silence. That's where the truth is, and the truth isn't always pretty. It's okay to feel like shit. It's okay to say, I'm fucked up right now. But you don't stay there. You dig deeper. Who the fuck are you? What's the truth about you? Not the Instagram version, not the lie you tell people at work. The raw, ugly truth, that's where the work begins. And let me tell you something, it's not going to take days or weeks. It might take years. Years of grinding, failing, digging, and bleeding. But you do it anyway because that's the only way to find your purpose. And when you find that purpose, you fucking own it. Don't waste your time saying, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. Bullshit. Maybe you're not LeBron James, but guess what? You don't need to be. You've got something far greater than talent. You've got guts and willpower. That shit will take you places talent never can. Man, people love to point fucking fingers and say, oh, Goggins' knees are shot because he runs too much. Wrong. My knees aren't fed because I ran. They're fucked because life doesn't give a damn about fairness. I wasn't born with a golden ticket. I wasn't born with perfect alignment or some superhero genetics. Hell no, I was born with sickle cell and a list of health issues most people would use as an excuse to quit. But I made a choice, a hard fucking choice. Either sit my ass down and feel sorry for myself or get up and see just how far I can push this body. I chose to grind. And yeah, it hurts. Everything hurts. But I realized something. Pain can become your new fucking normal if you let it. When my knees started screaming, I didn't whine about it. I told myself, stop feeling sorry for yourself, bitch. Here's the thing, your feelings will betray you every fucking time. I wake up most mornings and say, fuck your feelings. It's not about being a robot. It's about making a damn decision to do what needs to be done, no matter how you feel. People say you don't want to end up like Goggins. Why the fuck not? I study the darkness. I don't just flirt with it. I dive into it head first because the light doesn't teach you shit. The light is where you get soft. The dark is where you grow. You don't find answers in happiness. That shit comes easy. It's in the grind, the misery, the chaos. That's where the truth is. When life beats you down and you're in the dirt, that's when you learn what you're made of. I've been in those dark places my whole life. I grew up watching my mom get beaten, getting my ass beat, stuttering so bad I couldn't say one fucking line in front of 15 people. I'd go home and cry thinking, why me? But I stopped asking why me and started saying, let's figure this shit out. Every time life fucks me up, I grab a pen and paper and take notes. I don't run from the darkness. I study it. I get in it deep. That's how you learn. That's how you grow. You want to succeed. You can't fit discipline, structure, consistency, or the grind into a cluttered mind. Your mental garage is full of junk, excuses, fears, and bullshit stories you tell yourself. Clean that shit out. And there's no such fucking thing as failure, only attempts. You're out there trying to do something bigger than yourself, something that feels impossible. That's not failure. If you're paralyzed and trying to take one step, but don't make it, guess what? That wasn't a failure, motherfucker. That was your first damn attempt. That's how you need to see everything in life. Failure is just a word, but we give it so much damn power. Stop giving it that power. Take that shit back. I don't fail. You don't fail. You attempt. You learn. You grow. That's the mindset that got me here. Breaking myself all the way down to the fucking bottom and owning it. You want to fix yourself. Start by being honest. Brutally honest. Look someone in the eye and say, yeah, I've lied. I've cheated. I've been insecure. I wanted people to like me, so I pretended to be someone I'm not. That's not the real me. You know how hard that shit is? It's fucking brutal. But that's the key. You got to own your flaws, all of them, because life created this version of you and now it's on you to fix it. A lot of the shit you carry isn't your fault. Life did that. But guess what? Nobody's coming to save your ass. Nobody. You've got to go back to where it all started. The place that broke you, and have the guts to start fixing it yourself. That's where the work is. And no, it's not fun. It's not a place you want to live, but you need to go there if you want to grow. Here's the thing. I wasn't born special. I didn't have shit handed to me. I had to crack open the doors that were slammed in my face. That's why it pisses me off when people won't even try. Because I know what's possible when you stop making excuses and start opening up your mind to what you can really achieve. It's not about being amazing. It's about letting yourself believe in what's possible. That's where the magic is. Growth, mental, physical, spiritual, it all comes when you stop taking the easy way out and start pushing yourself every damn day. You can't live with a weak mindset. You've got to be your best when shit hits the fan, not just on the good days. How do you do that? You stop thinking like everyone else. You stop being normal. Normal is quitting when it's hard. Normal is taking the easy route every time. If you keep choosing the easy path, your mind stays soft. You'll never build those mental calluses you need to get through the grind of life. I know what it's like to barely get by, to be a fucking chameleon, just blending in. But that's not what it takes to be one of the 1%ers, the people who want it so bad they'll do whatever it takes. Man, when shit gets hard, most people start to push back. They build excuses, create soft-ass narratives to make themselves feel better and avoid the fucking truth. But you can't run from the truth, man. Not if you want to grow. Man, you're fat. I was fat too. So go ahead, talk shit. I've been there. I know exactly what it feels like to roll your fat ass out of bed and hate what you see in the mirror. It's fucking hard. Every day feels like a battle just to get moving. But let me be clear, I can't want it more than you. That's the problem with so many people. They want the easy way out. I'm sorry, but there's no easy way. Life doesn't hand out get out of jail free cards. You can't just say, oh, it's okay and expect things to change. It's not okay if you're not willing to help yourself. That shit is unacceptable to me because I know where that leads, nowhere. If I had accepted that weak ass narrative for myself, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. You've got to stop lying to yourself. Stop hiding behind these fucking excuses. Life isn't here to give you what you want. You've got to take it. You've got to discipline your mind, work harder, and dig deeper. That's the only way. Man, we're all jacked up in our own ways. That's what makes who we are. But being jacked up isn't the problem. Staying jacked up is. I figured out my process for getting unjacked, and it's not a straight line. Some people go from point A to point B. I went from point C to D to E and back to F. It doesn't matter how you get there as long as you fucking get there. That's how I train my mind. I've got this demon that I let out every morning. He's the one that whispers, not today, bitch. Somebody out there is doing more than you, running farther, pushing harder, grinding longer. And if you meet him, you won't be ready. So I don't stop. I keep running. I keep grinding. At the end of the day, I want to be proud of the man I've become. Not the liar, not the insecure guy I used to be. I want to look back and say, fuck, yeah, I gave it everything. And you know what? It's okay to be unhappy sometimes. It's okay to say I'm fucked up. But you got to follow that up with action. Ask yourself, who the fuck am I? What's the real truth about me? Then get to work fixing it. The only way out is through. So stop making excuses, face the pain, and start building the person you want to be. Nobody's coming to save you. It's all on you. You've got to stop running from the dark and start owning that shit. Get in that deep fed up place in your mind, the one you're scared to open and confront it. Figure it out. It might take months, hell, it might take years, but until you sit your ass down and face who the fuck you are, you'll never find your purpose. We're surrounded by noise every damn day. The world is moving faster, louder, busier. You've got to silence all that shit. Shut it down. Get away from people, from the bullshit distractions, from the comfort zones we love so damn much. We love the parties, the chit chat, the easy escapes, but that's why most people are soft. They don't know how to be alone. They don't know how to face the truth. You've got to ask yourself, who the fuck am I? And be accountable. Look yourself in the mirror and stop lying. You're unhappy. Good. Sit with that shit. Be real about what's broken and then start fixing it. Open up those locked doors in your mind. Go into those dark chambers where the demons live. Don't avoid them. Kick the fucking door open, walk in and say, what's up, motherfucker? You've been running my life too long. That's the only way you're going to take control. And listen, it's easier to say, oh, I'm just not good enough, or I wasn't made for this. That's bullshit. Yeah, you're not going to be fastest, but guts and willpower can take you places talent never will. Most people quit because they don't have the mental toughness to stick it out. They want someone to say, it's okay, take a day off, let's grab some pizza and chill. Fuck that. That's weakness talking. I used to be that weak ass guy. That's why I'm hard as fuck on myself now, and I don't need anybody to be easy on me. If I can be hard on myself, I sure as hell don't need your sympathy. That's why I get up every fucking morning and grind, not just for me anymore, but for the people watching, the ones I'm leading. You've got to stay hungry. Comfortable is the enemy. You hit the top of one mountain, and you better start building another one. Otherwise, you'll fall into mediocrity. There are too many people out here with shiny resumes and soft-ass minds. They accomplish one thing, cash in, and then wonder why they lost their edge. All those people in the gym getting big, getting fast, they're building strong quitters. Because when life punches them in the mouth, they're not ready. Their minds are still weak. Man, life beat the shit out of me. I was knocked the fuck out in the 12th round of a 15-round fight. But guess what? When life turned his back on me, I got the fuck up. I won the next 3 rounds because that's my mindset. Can't hurt me. Every punch, every failure, every time someone told me I wasn't enough, I had to eat that shit and keep moving. My father, the bullies, my learning disabilities, all of it tried to break me. And maybe it did for a while, but I refused to stay broken. You've got to face what's in front of you, no matter how ugly or painful it is. Overcome it, move forward, and keep fighting. That's the only way you win. Don't let life beat you. Step into the dark and own it. Man, throughout this journey, I wasn't just becoming someone new. I was building someone new. I was creating a fucking machine. People started looking at me like I was some superhero, some untouchable, otherworldly creature. And you know what? Part of me liked that. It's easy to sit in that space, to live in the comfort of that story. But in the back of my mind, I knew the truth. I knew the real fucking story. And that voice in my head kept asking me, do you have the balls to tell it? Do you have the courage to go back to the beginning and show people where you came from? Because staying where people see you is great. That's the easy shit. That's what the weak man does. But I realized the only way I could truly help people was to tell them the truth. Where I came from was pure hell. See, here's what people do. They look at someone who's done something incredible and they slap a title on them, superhuman 1% gifted. The moment you do that, you let yourself off the hook. Oh, they're just different. That's not me. I'm not built like that. God made them special bullshit. There are no special people. What there is is a special fucking mindset. And here's the thing, you can build that mindset yourself. That's why I share my story. That's why I go back to hell and bring it to the surface. I want people to look at me and see, damn, this dude wasn't made in a lab. He was made in the dirt. He built this shit brick by brick. Because here's the thing, I'm not special. What I am is relentless. What I am is willing to face the pain over and over again until I've reshaped who the fuck I am. Man, I'm not just training my body, I'm training my mind and my spirit so they all work as one. Because life doesn't give a fuck about you. It's going to throw everything it has at you. Pain, suffering, loss, failure. And if you're not ready, if you're not strong enough physically and mentally, you're going to crumble. And when you crumble, you're no good to anyone. Not yourself, not your family, not the world. Suffering, it's a test. That's all it is. Suffering is the truest test of who the fuck you are. But here's the problem. When life gets hard, we forget how strong we really are. We start looking for excuses, ways to justify the quitting mindset. Oh, it's too much for me. Bullshit. Suffering is there to see what you're made of, to remind you of the savage inside. Where I'm at today, this place of peace of control over my life, it didn't come from running 200 miles doing 4,000 push-ups or earning the trident as a Navy SEAL. That shit doesn't define greatness. Greatness is whatever the fuck you dreamed of in your mind. It's personal. But you've got to see it first. You've got to create that vision for yourself. And once you have it, that's when the real work starts. We all have greatness in us. Every single one of us. I don't care if you think you're dumb. I don't care if you're fat or you've been bullied. It doesn't matter what's happened to you, man. Greatness is in you. The problem is most people never have the courage to find it. They let the noise of the world drown it out. You've got to put on those metaphorical Beats headphones, block out all the bullshit and dig deep to define your greatness. That's what separates the weak from the strong. That's what makes us savage. When I wrote Can't Hurt Me, my mom didn't want me to talk about some of the shit we went through. And I get it. She lived her hell. But what she didn't realize was I was a kid living in that hell too, watching her fight battles my young mind couldn't process. Her pain became my pain and it stuck with me. For years, I thought the devil in my life was my father. And yeah, he was a son of a bitch, no question. But when I finally confronted him, I realized something. The devil wasn't just him. The real devil was me. I was holding myself back. I was making excuses, looking for someone to blame. I wanted my dad to give me that confirmation and say, yeah, you're a loser and it's my fault. But guess what? Even if he said that, it wouldn't have changed a damn thing. My life was still on me. That drive home from Buffalo after facing my father hit me like a freight train. I realized something brutal. My life was going to suck. Not because I was destined to lose, but because I was finally going to start winning. Winning isn't easy. Winning means owning your shit. It means no one's coming to save you. Not your mom, not your dad, not your friends. It's just you versus you every fucking day. And when you finally accept that, that's when the real fight begins. That's when you start to win. Let me tell you something about people with a talent problem. They're the hardest motherfuckers to train. Why? Because they're so damn good at what they do that they don't think they need to go further. They're stuck men, comfortable, soft, and living in the shallow end of their talent. And as a coach, as a leader, trying to push them past that comfort. It's a damn fight. But listen, talent only takes you so far. The real breakthroughs, the real savage levels, they're waiting for you past that talent line. That's where the magic happens, on the other side of that mental barrier where most people don't have the balls to go. Here's the truth. You take a talented motherfucker who's just dipping his toe in the deep end, checking the water temperature, and you throw his ass all the way in. That's when you see who's really got it. Talent doesn't mean shit if you're not mentally strong enough to survive in the deep end. And me, I live in the deep end. I thrive in it. While the talented ones are gasping for air, looking for a way out, I'm smiling. I'm saying, let's fucking go. That's what separates the strong from the weak. That's what separates me from you. You know that look, when you're fighting someone and you see it in their eyes, that moment you broke them, they're done. They don't want to go another round. They're begging for the bell to save them. And you're standing there thinking I could do this all fucking day. That's what taking souls is all about. But taking souls isn't just physical. It's mental. It's about being willing to go the distance when you've got nothing left. When you're beat down, jacked up, and every part of you is screaming to stop you, dig in and give more. That's how you steal their energy, man. That's how you take it all. And guess what? That energy they lose, it fuels you. It's like a fire inside you saying, keep going. Don't stop. You own this shit. You've got to have the heart, the will, and the courage to push through when everyone else is breaking. I've been there, man. I've been in that moment where it's just me and the demon inside my head. I'd be running 10 miles thinking I've done enough, and that voice would creep in saying, no, bitch, not today. Someone out there is doing 12, 15, 20. You're not done. And that's when I dig deeper and keep running. That's the 40% rule. When you think you're done, you're really only at 40%. That's where you train your brain to operate on a whole different level, a level most people don't even know exists. And once you push past it, it becomes your new standard. Now talent. It's overrated. Comfort. It's a killer. The real power comes when you stop living in your excuses, stop riding on your gifts, and start living in the deep end. That's where greatness is. That's where you become a savage. Let me tell you something. Even the hardest motherfuckers out there forget how badass they are when life starts kicking them in the teeth. I've been through hell. I've faced things most people would crumble under. But you know what happens when the storm hits? You forget. You forget all the wars you've already won. That's where the cookie jar comes in. It's not just some feel-good bullshit. It's your weapon in the fight. You've got to stop, dig deep into that mental cookie jar and pull out some proof of who the fuck you are. You've got to say, wait a minute, I've been through 3 hell weeks. I survived 2. I went through Ranger School. I've seen trauma, beatings, and murder. And I didn't just survive, I kept going. All that shit you've endured. That's your power. It's your reminder that you're built for this. But we let the pain of the moment blind us. We forget the savage we really are because that hard time consumes us. Here's the thing. I look at where I'm at today and yeah, I'm amazed, but I never forget where I came from. I wasn't born this way. I built this motherfucker out of scraps. I was nothing, man. No one trained me. No one gave me the blueprint. My mom didn't teach me. My dad didn't teach me. Hell, life didn't give me shit except pain. But guess what? That pain was my teacher. I became the mechanic, the carpenter, the architect of my own damn life. I took all those scraps and I started building. And yeah, I had no clue what I was doing, but I kept going. You know why it's so damn hard? Because your mind has got the tactical advantage over you. It knows your fears. It knows where your insecurities are hiding. And when you're alone, and trust me, you're alone more than you think, it whispers all that weak shit in your ear, trying to pull you back into mediocrity. But here's the truth. If you don't control your brain will control you. And if that happens, you're fucked. You've got to be the one in charge. You've got to tell your mind where you're going, how you're getting there, and why you're not stopping. Life ain't fair. It ain't easy. But let me tell you, you have more than you think you do. All I did was pick up a fucking shovel and start digging my own path. And some days it feels like everyone else is flying down the highway 200 miles ahead of you. But so what? You keep digging. Some days, yeah, I wake up with a bad attitude. I call it my poopy pants days. I sit there thinking, why the fuck am I doing this? Why am I living this disciplined life? Why not just quit and be like everyone else? But then I snap out of it. I tell myself, fuck that. You want to be normal? You want to be like the masses? Fine, go ahead. But you'll never know what the hell you're really capable of. You'll die mediocre. And that's when I realized the worst thing that could have ever happened to me was never finding myself. For too long, I didn't even know who I was. No self-esteem, no confidence, no nothing. But through pain, through work, through struggle, I found it. I found me. And now, there's no going back. Man, it took me a long fucking time to figure this shit out. For years, I was lost. I was this insecure, broken down version of myself trying to play a character. I was all about appearances, sagging my pants, messing with my hair, trying to fit in. But deep down, I was a fucking clown. I didn't know who I was, and the truth was staring me in the face every damn day. This isn't where you're supposed to be in life, man. What the fuck are you doing? But I didn't change overnight. It took pain. It took failure. It took suffering to start waking me up. Little by little, I started learning. I started putting the pieces together. And one day I looked at what I had built and I thought, how the fuck did I create this person? And I'll tell you how, by owning every single mistake, every failure, every insecurity, I call it raw accountability. Not that soft, sugar-coated bullshit people love to tell themselves. Like, oh, I eat a little too much. No, motherfucker, you're fat. Call it what it is. Don't lie to yourself. You want to change. Start by writing down all the shit you don't want to do. That list should be long as hell. If you hate making phone calls, guess what? Today you're making 100 fucking calls. You're going to dial and dial until that fear has no power over you. Why? Because every single thing you avoid, every weakness you ignore owns you. And if you want to take your life back, you've got to face that shit head on. This whole idea of triple down on your strengths. That's some half-baked advice for people who want to stay comfortable. That's not how you grow. If you want to find courage, if you want to build real confidence, you've got to triple down on your weaknesses. That's where the transformation happens. Man, when I was younger, society painted this picture of the world being full of endless possibilities. But my life, it shrunk that world down to a tiny box. Fear, insecurity, self-doubt, they trapped my mind. They put shackles on my brain. And I let them. I started believing the lies. This is all I can do. This is who I am. Why? Because I was scared. Scared of failing, scared of trying, scared of looking back at the wreckage of my life. But here's the thing. If you don't face that shit, it'll own you forever. You want to change. You've got to confront it. You've got to look in the mirror and say, this is who I am, but it's not who I have to stay. And then start doing the fucking work. Your life gets fucking small when you let it. You sit there locked in your own damn excuses instead of realizing I can do all this shit. When you smash through those walls, the bullshit limits you put on yourself, that's when your whole world changes. That's when I realized I could be a Navy SEAL. Now, why the hell would a dude who was scared of water decide to become a SEAL? The whole fucking job is water. We don't dip our toes in, we fucking live in it. But my mind said you're going to do it. If I hadn't faced that fear, no one would know my name today. When you take on your fears, everything fucking changes. Doors you didn't even know existed start flying open. The whole damn world expands. At one point, I used to think no one understands me. No one knows what the fuck I'm going through. And you know what? That mentality keeps you weak. It keeps you exactly where you are. Everybody's going through some shit. When people say you don't understand me, that's bullshit. You can throw a rock and hit someone who's been through it. But you've got to stop hiding, stop pretending your pain makes you special. I learned this. Suffering isn't optional. It's mandatory. That's life. You suffer every fucking day. You do the shit that sucks every day so that when the real pain hits, you're fucking ready. And that's what happened. I stopped running from the struggle. I made it my fucking lifestyle. I was weak as shit. Weakest guy God ever made. But I didn't blame him for a damn thing. I owned it. I decided to become the hardest motherfucker ever made. Did I get there? Who the hell knows? But you've got to have a goal. While everyone else was sleeping in, I was grinding. I saw something in myself that no one else could. I thought, hold on, I've got something they don't have. That's when I started building it. My work ethic, my discipline. I wasn't training for trophies. Fuck trophies. I was training for life. I figured it out the hard way. Through discipline, through grinding, through doing shit you don't want to do. Over and over and over, you build something unbreakable. You armor your mind. Your mind says, okay, we suffer. That's what we do. And when the real shit comes, you're ready. This isn't a game. This is a way of life. Uncomfortable. Good. That's where the growth is. You want to win. Stop running from the pain and start fucking embracing it. People who wronged me. Situations that fed me over. I stopped letting that shit own me. You know why? Because when you get to a place where you're truly locked in with who you are, nobody can fuck with you anymore. Let them talk. Let them try. It doesn't even register because you're unshakable. Ask yourself, what the fuck do you want out of life? Most people don't even know because they're so damn distracted. Social media opinions bullshit from every direction. It's like a mental junkyard. You got to get quiet, spend time with yourself and figure that shit out. Nobody else can do it for you. For me, I was always preparing for the next step. I don't wallow in my misery. I give myself a minute, maybe two, to feel the pain. Then I say, all right, motherfucker, time to man the fuck up. What's next? That's a trained skill. People get stuck crying about one little thing. Oh no, I can't run today because it's raining or this tiny inconvenience ruined my whole day. What kind of weak ass excuse is that? Life's going to kick your ass. It's inevitable. You've got to adapt. Back in the day, I was a little piece of shit. Thought I wasn't good enough. thought I couldn't do this or that. Then I pulled my head out of my ass and realized, man, you're wasting your fucking life. Get off your ass and do something. Once I started moving, I saw what was possible. Front loading. You put in the work now so you're ready when shit gets hard later. Man, I'm happy because I chose this life. This grind, this discipline, that's who I am. But don't mistake it for balance. People talk about balance like it's a magical thing. Let me tell you, balance is bullshit. If you want to be great, you're going to be unbalanced. That's the price. Everything I've got comes from discipline. That's the foundation. The 4 a.m. runs, the cold swims, the grueling workouts. That's where I built the mental toughness. That shit carried over into everything else. Learning something that takes me 10 hours when others get it in 1. Yeah, it's frustrating as hell, but I don't quit. I fucking grind through it. People see the pull-up records, the powerlifting, the ultras. They think that's the hard part. Nah, man. Some of the hardest shit I've ever done is sitting my ass down and learning something new. But I got through it the same way I got through everything else. Discipline, consistency, and doing the fucking work no matter how hard it gets. Man, it's not about feeling good. It's about owning your fucking mind and your body. You think I enjoy this shit? Hell no, man, I don't. But it's fucking necessary. Every damn morning I wake up and it's not just about working out. It's about fucking conquering myself. Working out has been a big part of my mental growth. And I'm not bullshitting you when I say this. If I'm not pushing myself every fucking day, I'd still be that fat bastard I was, almost 300 pounds twice in my life. Twice. Do you know what kind of weak ass mind it takes to let that happen? And do you know what kind of savage mindset it takes to fix it? Now, man, I fucking hate cardio. I don't enjoy it. But I realized something. The growth, the real growth is in that shit you hate and the pain and the suffering. That's where you find yourself. That's where you transform. Comfort is a damn trap. The only place growth exists is in that uncomfortable ass zone, and I hit that zone every single fucking day. I wasn't born disciplined. Don't get it twisted. The military didn't teach me shit about self-discipline. I had zero discipline. I had to build that shit from the ground up. I sucked at reading, writing. Forget it. Learning disabilities. Hell yeah, I had them all. I wasn't born smart and I sure as hell wasn't special. But I had one thing. I knew I had to change or stay weak forever. At 16, I was reading at a 4th grade level. That's fucking embarrassing. But I sat my ass down and I worked. I spent hours reading, writing, learning. That shit was painful, but it taught me the power of self-discipline. That same grind I put into learning, I put into working out, and that's where it all started. When you look at yourself and see a broken down, weak ass version of who you want to be, it's overwhelming. But here's the thing. You don't fix it all at once. You focus on one fucking thing at a time. For me, it was getting smarter first. I had to outwork my learning disabilities. I wasn't going to learn like everyone else, so I had to strategize. When I got that 1,000-page dive manual before dive school, I didn't just stare at it like some lazy fuck. I wrote down every damn page 10 times if I had to. Over 18 months, I ground that shit into my brain. So when the test came, I didn't have to guess. I knew. That's how you win. One problem at a time, full effort, no excuses. Man, life is like a rucksack. You start carrying all this heavy ass shit as you grow. Abuse, insecurity, self-doubt, failures, it piles up. I carried so much crap I was lying to myself and everyone else just to feel okay. But no one is coming to help you unpack that rucksack. No one. You have to face the person in the mirror. That's where it starts. That's where the truth lives. I looked in that mirror and said, nobody's coming to save you. Your dad isn't coming back. That pain isn't going away. It's on you. That's the accountability mirror. Stop running from it. Stop lying to yourself. Face the fucking truth and do the work. Stay hard.